Hello and welcome to Two Tiers Deep, the Women's Cricket Weekly Show, with me, Rosa Simpkin.
And me, Chloe Hill.
I'm the journalist working in all the tiers of women's cricket.
And I'm the cricketer currently playing in the game.
Hello and welcome back to the Two Tiers Deep podcast. This week, we're going to get straight into things because we've got a really special guest for you. And Chloe is going to tell you a bit more.
Yeah, how exciting. And this guest has a 20-year career for England, England's top run scorer in ODIs and T20, a World Cup winning captain. She's also led England to 2 global titles and multiple Ashes wins. In the coaching side of the game, she's got multiple domestic and franchise titles across England, India and Australia. And just to finish, she's one of the greatest figures in the women's cricket history. I'm delighted, and we are delighted, to welcome onto the podcast Charlotte Edwards. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
UK.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Lottie, I don't think you've met Rosa, but Rosa's quite heavy in like women's cricket, the domestic system, the journalist side.
Hi, Rosa, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to take it away first. How are you viewing the domestic season compared to previous years?
I just think it's incredibly exciting. I think, obviously last year was the first year of the county structure as such. And I think it was really hugely positive from, tier 1 down to tier 3. I certainly enjoyed watching it. There was a lot more cricket on the streams, which is brilliant. But I think it just gave, tier 2 and tier 3 a platform to play at. And more importantly, I think they just got more exposure through their clubs and their counties. And, it was great to see so many people following it, and certainly not just on streams, but at the grounds. And I think it was a hugely successful first season.
You've touched on this, but do you feel the standard across the competition is the highest it's ever been?
Yeah, I do. I think some of the cricket I saw last summer was of the highest standard. I think tier 1, especially when all the England players came back, probably for those first 7 games, I think we saw a real uplift in the standard, but not also the games and how competitive they were. And I think that just is purely down to the fact that we want to see England players playing more in county cricket if we can. There is a balance, and we've got to strike that right balance. And that has a knock-on effect then on tier 2 and tier 3, because other players are coming out of tier 1 on loan to tier 2, which is fantastic, and it strengthens the whole competition. So, I was really, really impressed by the standard.
If we touch on tier 1, is there a team you think that could surprise people this season?
Wow, yeah, I think there's a few teams in the mix this year. I think, and a lot does depend on England availability. I know that, but I think Lancashire are going to be strong again. I think they seem to have a consistent team maybe throughout the season. Maybe the surprise might be Durham. I think they had a good year last year, but I think just missed out on finals. But maybe it's Durham's year this year.
And then looking at Darwin more widely, we're now into the second season of the new structure. How important do you think the system is to the future of English cricket? And you've touched on tier 2 and tier 3. How important do you think it is to the infrastructure of the game?
Oh, it's vitally important. I think a strong domestic structure is always going to provide, brilliant players and players who are ready to play, international level. So, it's vitally important. I think it's taken a few years for us to get to this point. I think, we've gone through a few phases of what our domestic structure looks like, but I think we've landed on a really good structure, and I think the counties are all on board, which is the most important thing. And having had lots of meetings with the counties over the last few weeks, I'm really positive and looking forward to what the future holds.
And obviously you just touched on the few phases of the domestic system. Do you think now with this new tier structure that the pathway into England is a lot clearer now?
Yeah, I do. And I think that's so important for any young players, that you can see a way to get to the top if that's your ambition. And I think, but what is great now, whether you're a club player, there's ambition, there's tier 3, there's tier 2, there's tier 1. And I think so often, probably back when I was playing, and maybe 25 years ago, your sort of success was defined whether you played for England or not. And I don't think that's the case now. It's definition of great players is now you've performed brilliantly at county cricket as well. And I think that's so important for any young player to see that. And, I've certainly enjoyed witnessing it over the last few years.
Obviously, the new system has been massively successful and we're still quite early into it. Is there anything you think we can harness further or improve further to help it really succeed?
I think not trying to go too big too quickly. I think bringing Yorkshire in this year and obviously Glamorgan next year. I think a 10 team sort of tier one is the right amount, and I think we mustn't try and go too big, because I think we've still got to make sure that the quality of cricket is there, and that's obviously from my perspective as England coach, that's really important that they're getting quality cricket every week. And that would probably be my only thing, is that I think 10 is enough teams, and I think that's just shown the growth over the last few years and where we've got to.
If we move to you now as England head coach, how has your approach to coaching evolved from when you were head coach at Southern Vipers in the regional system to now England women's head coach?
I don't think it changes, to be perfectly honest. I think you've got to be really authentic as a coach, and I think I wouldn't be doing myself justice if I went into the England role and started kind of being someone I wasn't. And I think my values are still very similar. The way I go about things are completely the same. I guess it's just on a bigger scale, and that's that comes with coaching your country, really. I think there's obviously a lot more selection headaches and managing people, and obviously you don't get as much time with the players, which has been something that has been not a challenge, but I guess different to my previous role. So I guess I've navigated that over the last year, but really enjoying the role, and some exciting times ahead.
What's the biggest difference for you personally, would you say, between being a great player and great captain and a great coach?
I think you've got to be I think how I've changed is I'm much more patient as a coach than as a player, and I think that's really important. I think you've got to have empathy as a coach, and that's something that you've got to understand. But I think there's similar things that transfer over, but I think you've got to listen as well. The players obviously want to share, and you want to be approachable to them to share how they're feeling, and I think that's vitally important in that role. And I feel like I'm a better coach than I was a captain, and I think I wish I'd have had some of the skills I've got now as a coach when I was a captain, but then you may not have been the player you were because you had to play in a certain way. And so you're always learning, and I think that's been the great thing about going into coaching is you're learning all the time.
No, absolutely love that. And what are some non-negotiables you have as a head coach for England women?
Well, you've got to work hard. Don't be late. That's one thing I do not. I guess moaning. I don't think there's any reason for anyone to moan anymore, because we're so lucky now with all the opportunities we get. So there's a few of them. I just want people to work hard, don't be late, and no need for moaning. But I think they're fundamental in any sort of team environment, I would say.
Obviously, you've recently returned from South Africa where you had that intra-squad series. Are there any of the young players in that series or beyond coming through that really excite you?
I think there's a lot of players that have excited me over the last sort of 12 months, having been able to watch a lot of county cricket and be around the under-19s programme over the winter, and then obviously being around the performance programme as well. So we've managed to sort of introduce a few players into the England environment. I think that's been so beneficial. But lots of players have excited me. All of those performance programme players, I think, having the opportunity to come to South Africa and play some games out there and be around the England group is definitely excited me, and I look forward to seeing how they all start the season.
If we look to the summer of the home World Cup, how big of an advantage is it for England to have a home World Cup this year?
I think it's, an advantage. Of course it is. You're going to have the crowd behind you, but there's also a pressure that comes with that, and you absolutely know that. So I think what we're going to do is embrace it. I think these opportunities as a home World Cup don't come around very often. Yeah, I think that's the main message to the players. We've got to try and enjoy it, embrace it, and I guess hopefully play to our potential. Which the way we've trained over the winter, I think we're ready to hit the ground running. And we've got a lot of international cricket before the World Cup, but hopefully that will prepare us well.
We've seen a lot of people compare this summer to the Red Roses and the Lionesses. How powerful could it be for women's sport if you added to the list of winning a trophy on home soil?
I think it would, be amazing, and that's what I think is really spurring us on to try and do something really special, not just for women's cricket but women's sport. I think off the back of the Red Roses and the Lionesses and the impact that's had on their sports, but knowing that we can hopefully do the same for our sport, but also for women's sport is pretty special place to be in. So I think it's going to be incredible. I think I'm trying not to think too much about it because I think we've seen the ticket sales and we're just trying to, I guess, think about the here and now. And I think that's what we've got to do. And I think, it's just, but when you do have a moment to think about it, you think June the 12th at Edgbaston in front of a full house. I mean, what a better place, no better place to start the tournament. And hopefully it's going to be absolutely rocking in the Hollies, and the crowd will be right behind us.
And where do you see this England side compared to previous generations in terms of, obviously, we know it's more professionalised and they've got more contact time. But as a whole, looking at the World Cup, where do you see this England side compared to previous generations?
I mean, they've certainly had the best preparation they'll have for a home World Cup. It's an exciting group. We've got a really good blend of sort of that real experience within our team, and these incredibly exciting youngsters that are coming through. The job now is to pull it all together and obviously really mould this team. And I feel like we've really started that over the winter, and hopefully, we can put the results on the board, which is the most important thing. And I think and the thing we're most excited about is being consistent and being able to play the really big moments well.
And then you're obviously in the very unique position that you've coached franchises around the world, and now you're in that international role. How do you see franchise cricket continuing to fit into the international cricket landscape? And do you think it mainly helps the game?
Yeah, it absolutely helps the game massively. I mean, I was talking, to someone the other day and just saying like the opportunity it provides for our players to play under pressure, play in those big moments. The WPL, having coached out there myself, it's an unbelievable tournament to be part of. So that only benefits us as a group and benefits the game. The sums of money now that are being paid at franchise level, you can't ignore it. We've got to work with the franchise leagues and integrate the international cricket, but still make international cricket the absolute pinnacle of what we do. And that's something, we continually talking to the players, but the players want to play for England. They want to play international cricket. And who wouldn't? With what we've got coming up this summer, I think it's going to be incredible.
And then a big question to yourself is, what still drives you now in coaching? So what is Charlotte Edwards' biggest driver for you being a head coach?
Just getting the best out of the players you work with. I think, I've never hidden away from the fact, I love winning. It's part of what we do is in the roles we're in, it's a results business and I enjoy winning. So anything I can do to obviously help prepare players and obviously look after players and get the best out of them to hopefully so we can go and achieve things like lifting World Cups, etc. So that's what drives me on every day and what I love about the job I do.
And then we always like to end things with a bit of quick fire fun to find out a little bit more about you. First of all, Captaincy or coaching?
Coaching.
The best player you played with?
Sarah Taylor.
The toughest opponent you've ever faced, I guess, both as a player and as a coach?
Toughest opponent would probably be, as a coach, Beth Mooney. She always seems to score runs. And as a player, Catherine Fitzpatrick, when I was playing for England back in the day.
One word for England's World Cup chances?
God, one word. Inspiring.
And then one word for a home World Cup?
Legacy.
Amazing. Rosa, was there anything else that you wanted to add in extra at the end?
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us.
Pleasure. No problem. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
No worries. And I'll look forward to following certainly Northants. Rosa, do you play?
Not at that level. No, I do a little bit of club cricket.
That's all right. Who do you play for?
I play for Berkswell.
Sorry?
Berkswell in
Where's
the
that?
West Mids.
Oh, West Mids.
Near Coventry.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. Batter or
Some
bowler?
dodgy leg spin.
Dodgy
leg spin.
We're after some leg spinners, so we might need you.
So I'll stick to talking about it. I think that's safer for everyone involved.
Wow, what an interview with Charlotte Edwards that was. Any key takeaways from that really stood out to you?
It was really lovely to hear her perspective on tiered cricket and Project Darwin. Obviously, as someone who's not only coached in that setup, but is now overseeing it with England, I think she provides quite a unique perspective on that. And it was fascinating.
Yeah, I think one thing obviously that really resonated with me quite a bit was the coach, captain, and player sort of thing, and how all the values aligned, and how she now feels she's a better coach, but what she knows now might have made her a better captain, but then would that have affected her game? And I think that really resonates well with me in terms of my sort of coaching career now, sort of after the professional game. So yeah, no, everything that she spoke about was amazing, and I really, really hope that the listeners enjoy what she had to say.
I mean, I certainly enjoyed it, sat here listening to it live. So you'd really, really hope everyone enjoys that. And it's quite a special chat for the Two Tiers Deep podcast. I mean, we're in our second year of we are in our second year of the pod. And it's pretty awesome to be able to get the England head coach.
Yeah, that was pretty special. I mean, obviously I've had the luxury and the experience of having Lottie as my head coach when I was at Southern Vipers. And I guess she was sort of the first one that handed me my first professional contract in the women's game. So it's always quite a special sort of memory, and it's really nice to now see where she is with England women and how well she's going with England women and sort of changing them and the game, and sort of getting rid of that negative impact in the journalism side that we saw last year after the Ashes.
100%. And I think I have a lot of hope in Lottie's leadership of this team and how they'll go this summer. I think it's her first real opportunity to get her mitts on the team and shape what England looks like. So it'll be really exciting to see how they go.
But no, I completely agree. Like, I'm so excited to see where England women go for this World Cup. And also, I'm looking forward to seeing the England players play in the domestic season early on before the World Cup as well.
And on that note, thank you so much for listening. And we'll be back with you next week.
And if you've just listened to this podcast, but you haven't listened to the one before with the players previewing the season, go and listen to it.
Indeed, we've got exclusive insights from Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 for you. Go and listen back, find out some more. And as ever, if you have any questions regarding the women's domestic game, you can send them in to me via @rosatalksball or rosatalksball@gmail.com, or you can send them to Chloe
through my Two Tiers Deep Instagram page, which is @2tiersdeepch, or on X @Chloe_Hill97. Thank you so much, and let's go. The season starts tomorrow for Tier 1. How exciting!
Oh, I will be there. Chloe probably won't be there 'cause she's prepping for Tier 2 cricket on the Sunday. But do follow along. Go out, support Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 women's cricket. It won't cost you much. Just go and enjoy it.
What she said. Thank you so much.